Yeah, what up? So this is the devlog for March, or rather, like the devlog for February, however you wanna see it. This is gonna be a short one, mainly because I moved to a different country this month, so I was like busy doing all of that. So it's like a couple of very important updates this year. But yeah, I think this is pretty much like maybe not the last one for this year. Like I still have to do some juggling, but I still managed to find some time to work on this. So the updates for like Ohm and all of this setup. Just a quick recap. I essentially want to migrate this tool that I have here so that it runs on the web and locally with my new system, because this currently uses like a really weird custom system that I have for a different project. You can look at my older devlogs if you want for that. So yeah, my goal is to migrate all of this, everything that you see on the screen, to the new system, which is gonna live at this URL. So this month, what I did is I actually updated the way that this works. So last month, what I talked about was that I had like a custom setup for modules and like files and styles. And I thought that was gonna be cool because I wanted to have version control in a very simple way. But it very quickly became problematic. Like it just was a pain to work with. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna have like a kind of file system. So this website is essentially like just a wrapper around Cloudflare R2 buckets. And we just have like private and public paths and access tokens for those. And that's it. So there's not even like users or anything like that yet. It's pretty much like an API key that you use to access it, to get like write permissions and like to be able to read the private sections. So for example, if I try to, there's like anything that is not under the private folder is automatically public. Like here's this game that I worked on. It's not finished. It was like just an exploration. So it's another clicker, and you get like this thing. And obviously this is like the final state. Like you're not gonna start like this with everything. Like you won't have any people like this doing stuff. Anyways, it's not finished. But this game here is built with that system that I've been making, with the blob loader and all that, which I've made some updates actually. I could cover that, but I think that's like too many details, and I just want to like give a quick overview. So yeah, that's an example of one of those things. And like if I try to access like a public path, it's gonna give a 404. And so do I have this? No. Let me open this. So I have this path here. So for example, I can just access this .html, and it's gonna give me a 404 because although that file does exist, I don't have the cookie with the token, so yeah, I can't access this file. But like if I open Arc right here, for example, and I just enter, like I have it here. So yeah, as you can see, we can load this now. And like how this works, it caches files in Cloudflare, and it caches locally as well. So yeah, I actually updated the blob loader. There's one important thing that I want to mention, which is that the blob loader, so if I go to system/blob-loader.js, well, to begin with, that's gonna be like not visible. So let's go like a JS editor. It's just like open in whatever editor. Whoa. Yeah, whatever. This one sucks. Let's just open this thing. It's gonna work way better. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just gonna open like the fucking editor here. So blob loader. So yeah, I made an important change. Basically, now we no longer have the order where it, like before we first checked for inline. If we have any inline modules, we make those a priority. If we don't have those, we then check the cache, and then if we don't have that, then we fetch. Now the way that it works is we fetch and then we use the cache. Why? Because like if you browse the website and like it was pretty annoying that you would get the cache version, like you would not get the latest, and that's not what I wanted. That's not what you want. So cache is essentially like a fallback for like if you don't find it. Like inline it's good that it's the first thing, because you could have you could make sure that the inline is always updated because you're serving that. But if it's not the same with the cache. The cache is stored on the user's computer, right? So this is obviously way better, but yeah, I just realized recently, basically. So that's pretty much what I did. There are other small updates, like around the font configurations here that were missing, and I mean I continue to improve this module here. Speaking of related blob modules, so email also always receives a bit of love. I fixed the bug here in this version, but what I want to mention here is not about IMA, it's about the IMA TSX. Yeah, this is cool. So let me show this to you. So if I open my system folder, I have modules, but if let me show you a game so that it makes sense. So the project here for Angle. So currently we have this HTML file that is just our index for the different files that we are going to load. And so yeah, we have a reset CSS module, we have the blob loader, and you see here we have this blob loader library, which is just a transformer. And this transformer lives here. And you can see that this is actually like a bundled project that uses bund to get bundled. And the only dependency is sucras, however you pronounce that. And yeah, it's pretty simple. Like we just register like a global transformer, and we set the supported languages, and we just register that, and it's gonna run for all of the transformers. Like if we're gonna check if we should transform this, and the way that we do that is like we check the language attribute that gets passed to this. By the way, like this only works on scripts, right? This transformer in particular. So like if I wanted to transform style modules, then I would have to pass a style function. Same for the files. Like you could have your own specific type of file. Like you could check files. Let's say like you can check I don't know, like SVGs maybe, and you can transform them. Maybe you can convert them into sprites. I don't know, like whatever. So yeah, this basically just transforms TypeScript and JSX or TSX into JavaScript for EMA. So not React. And I mean, you could set it up with React, but I don't want that. I want EMA. So it sets this import statement. So it imports from this module, which is just a wrapper, right? Like my use tags function. So if I open this, you see that we're using those functions over there. And we export the typical functions that you would need. Yeah, it's just a wrapper around these two tags, basically. So yeah, it's pretty simple actually, and it's kind of lightweight. So these, if we take a look at it, if we reveal in Finder, you'll see that it's only like 200 kilobytes. I mean, it's kind of heavy-ish, but nowadays that's not like really a bunch in terms of JavaScript. And it does add a lot of ergonomics, and it's not that expensive. The downside is that you do lose a bit of compatibility with other browsers. So like, I think if I wanted to run this on like Electron 22 or 23, which is like the last version that was, or 21, which was the last version that was supported by Windows 7. I don't think that would run there. I haven't tried it out yet. So that's a downside. You can find solutions for that. Like there are some transformers that allow you to have more compatibility, like backwards compatibility. So you could do that, but that also adds more weight to this module because you would need some polyfills and whatnot. So yeah, but for my use case right now, this is pretty good. And yeah, this is really cool because now I have this setup where I can just load TypeScript files, and I'm using the @ prefix because if you use something like this, then we get into some trouble. Like the browser doesn't like that because it tries to actually find a relative file, but that's not how it works. So yeah, I don't remember if I mentioned, but like we can use esm.sh. I think I did mention it. I don't remember. But yeah, you can use that if you want. So yeah, I have all of my imports here and my other modules, and that's it. So that's pretty nice because now I have this folder, and I can access all of these different files. And like if I wanted to, I could save this index.html as like an inline HTML file. That would make it a bit heavier. But like that would also make it, like a standalone thing. And I've been thinking like, should I do that always or not? And I think I shouldn't. I think that the standalone version is more like an export function. Like if I wanted to share this game as a single executable type of file, then I can just generate that single HTML file and share that. And that's my goal. It's like you can do that. So like for ergonomics during development, you want this set up with a folder, right? And you also want like version control, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But then you also like want to have like the ability to export something that's editable, right? So that's where the inline modules come into play. So I think I have the microphone to close. Let's see how it goes with the volume. I'm also like not trying to speak too loud because it's kind of late. But yeah, so so for version control, what I did was I'm literally like if I go into CD games or like system, and you realize that we have a Git folder, and which is why I have or I used to have, I closed it. isomorphic Git, because essentially what I want to do is I want to have a development environment that works on the web. And so I was like, thinking, bouncing ideas with ChatGPT essentially, and I was like thinking like, okay, how do I achieve this? Like, how do I get version control without implementing a ton of shit? Because I'm already tired of working with just infrastructure and like just like working on the back end. Like, I want to get to the canvas work, like I want to get back to the fun part. But I really need version control. I tried working without it, but it's just like it's not gonna do it for me. So so what I did is like, I'm just now pushing the Git files, and I guess I'll see how that goes. So I have a tool called telesync, right? Yeah, like if I do it, you'll see that you need to pass an API key, and you have a few commands for syncing and creating keys and whatnot, revoking sessions, etc. It's just a wrapper for Cloudflare, essentially. And I have this push function, so I definitely need to improve it because it currently it's not optimized. Like, it's too slow. Like, if I do a push for everything, like I can do a push like just for a file or like just for a folder, but it's just not great. So I definitely need to improve that. But it's good enough. It's good enough for me right now, which is fine. So that I was gonna mention something about that. Oh yeah. So I do still have backups. So that's still a thing. So like every time I push something to Cloudflare R2, there is an automatic backup that gets created. So like I have version control and I have backups. So because it's not the same thing, right? Like, version control works locally. Like if I want to work here, I can just use the Git, like I can see the changes, like if I open the blob loader, like I can use whatever tool I want, and that's really useful because I don't have my development environment yet here. So that helps me work like that. And so I was thinking like, okay, could I use the Git files on the browser? And so this is where like isomorphic Git comes in, because it's just that. It's, as it says, it's like a pure JavaScript implementation of Git that works on the browser. So that's pretty much what I want. And it's like I can just, in theory, like I should be able to just kind of like pull those files at the Git URL and use those files to then like just push like local commits, right? So I don't have to push to a remote if I don't want to. Like I could do that too, which is pretty cool, right? Like I could, for example, like this means that I can work on the EMA package. So I can have like a local copy of this, like maybe like a separate folder or whatever, and I can like work here, and it's a repository, and I can push to GitHub, and that's gonna distribute, the package via npm. But then like I can also have this development environment, and I can do that from, like a browser or like my custom browser. So that's kind of like what I want to explore next. I guess the next step, but the next step is actually not this. The next step is not actually using this, because this, like before, using this, I want to jump into the actual IDE side of things. So because before, I had this like proof of concept here, and this proof of concept, like it's cool, it works. We can self-edit ourselves, but it's not great. Like it's just a proof of concept. I removed the icons, so that's why it doesn't work. I need to kind of like just randomly hit this point here. Yeah, it was just like a proof of concept, but it's not great. The editor, I mean, it's code mirror. That's good, but everything else is not great. So the next step is like I want to get it out of a box, and I want to implement it in the canvas. So now that I have my public computer ready, and I have like at least local version control without having to push things to like a whole big repo, like this folder is not a repo by itself. Like I have, it's a file system if you want to see it that way. And like, because I have this tsconfig file, like things just kind of like work nicely on the editor. So now for me, the next step is to just now actually start migrating stuff. So so this desktop file or this desktop app thing, this is what I'm gonna start exploring now, the fun part. Finally, a nice zooming experience. With this mouse, like the scroll is quite intense, I think. The good thing is that I do have sensibility settings here. But yeah, like I can also, I think I showcased the local setup. Maybe I already have it running. No, so I can do telesync serve, and then I can just open the local version of this. I think I need to do the HTTP local. Oh, a small typo. All right. So yeah, I need to update the speeds. So yeah, like you can just update this so that it's less sensitive. I mean, if I like with the trackpad, it's really good, really good. And it was also with the mouse, but I changed the mouse, and this one is like a bit more crazy. So yeah, like if I updated this, and if I refresh now, yeah, it's a bit less sensitive now. But anyway, yeah, that's just like wheels, like on these setups, but that's okay. You can always adjust that. But yeah, like I want to get started with this fun stuff. I'm gonna bring it back though to 1.5 because I actually do like that setting. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this update. I guess like if you scream through it, it's gonna seem like I've been working in the same shit, and I have essentially been working on the same shit. Like only the background changes for this room. But yeah, I mean that's how it is. Like it's not always glamorous. Like I just needed to get the infrastructure good because I wanted to be able to share links very easily, and also have like version control and all of this. But yeah, I'm at a good position now. Like I just want to start working on these cool things. So for the next devlog, expect some cool stuff now. So yeah, I'll see you later.